everyone, welcome back to Wildlife Reese Art. On this episode, I am painting a massive grizzly bear. This project started after my dad's friend saw a painting I did of a Highland cow. He liked the style, so he requested a similar painting of a bear. Not that kind of bear, but a mean-looking grizzly. He also wanted the painting to be inspired by the Chicago Bears logo. That's a football team. Yay, sports! So let's see if I can turn this blank canvas into something worthy of the fans. So to get started, I start with mixing my paint colors because none of the colors were exactly what I was aiming for. So did that for way longer than it looks. I did I think 8 of them, and that took like an hour because I just kept remixing. Before I started painting, I used the app Procreate to help bring my ideas to life. I made a simple sketch to figure out where everything should go and serve as a reference image to guide me while I painted. Once I was happy with my reference, I transferred the sketch over to canvas. Although it wasn't my original intention, the bear's nose is really cute. It looks like a heart. Similar to the Highland cow, I wanted to make the background dark with a fog of the colors I will be using for the bear. I'm actually really happy with how the background ended up turning out, even though it took forever. Alright, time to start actually painting the bear. First, we need to block in the colors. Blocking in colors is like filling the big pieces of a coloring book before adding the details. We paint the main colors first so we can see the whole picture start to come together. There's going to be a lot of darks and shadows on the bear. The colors completely change later. I'm just getting the orange and blue kind of situated, or whatever you want to call it. If you couldn't tell, I changed the color of these paints 15 times over. Just made tiny little adjustments because I didn't like the color, even though it didn't hardly change. I added a whole tube of white paint and it barely changed the color. On a different note, grizzly bears actually aren't an entire different species from brown bears. They're basically just the inland version of a brown bear. So the brown bears live in Alaska, coastal Alaska, I guess. And then grizzly bears are more inland. And it's right here where I kind of lose my vision for how to make this a final piece. Although it's kind of abstract and it is kind of decent, I couldn't see beyond this point, so it just really wasn't working for me. So what I decided to do is I'm going to not paint over all of it, but paint over a lot of it. I need to make this whole thing darker. It's everything. I'm already liking this better, even though it's degressing. Yeah, degressing, that's a word. This kind of hurts me. Yep, looks tons better. So I'm just gonna be happy with myself that I covered all this up. I'm gonna go in with the eyes, the nose, the mouth, and probably the whole muzzle. I'm not gonna debate the muzzle thing again. I think I can redo this in half the time. Sometimes you just gotta do this. Sometimes you just gotta clean slate. Not saying if it's not turning out, you should just destroy it. Holding a paintbrush and doing all this is like an arm workout. Even though I painted over most of it, I actually like this now. Everything's awesome. Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of the team. Except, not really. Okay, whatever. Man, I hate cleaning off large brushes. It uses up all the paper towel space. Anyone got a suggestion for that? This is way better. Way better. I'm happy now. I'm happy with how this is turning out. Okay, now that I'm here and it's looking better to me, even though, yes, I painted over pretty much all of it. Here, I'm switching between doing the eyes and the nose, snout. What did we call it? A muzzle or a snuzzle? Do bears have muzzles? I claim to know a lot about bears, but I don't. We'll go with that. Anyway, I switched from the eyes to the thing on its face that has its nose and mouth. My face is really close to the painting. You can't even see what I'm doing. It's necessary. It is part of the process. You know, getting your face as close as humanly possible to the painting. What am I even working on? I can't even tell what I'm working on. Move your head out of the way. Oh, wait. I'm working on the teeth. I know that because I can see the little paint thing in my hand. And it's the teeth color. Well, you can't really see what I'm working on while my head's in the way. Lucky for me, I move back a lot. I had a lot of fun in this chair, swirling around. It's a really fun rolly chair. Right now, I'm getting the shading for the eyes. I realize that I do a lot of hand motions that don't really mean much. You know, I was actually having a lot of fun with the face details, like the nose and stuff. Because I just really disliked working on the fur after my what's the word? Fumble. After my fumble with the fur. So I was kind of just avoiding doing the fur. Anything that wasn't the fur. I really want the eyes to like pop and like almost glow, but I was struggling to do that because every time I put one coat, I'd redo it, I'd go over it, and then I'd just scratch off the previous coat, which is why I'm putting white now on the eyes so that the light yellow will go over it easier. And they are glowing, but that's because they're white. Look at how shiny it is. I actually end up really, really loving this process. See, now I can make the eyes pop and glow with the light orange. I had no idea really what I was doing for the gums. I had to make it like shiny or slimy like saliva color. This bear is supposed to look mean or fierce, like it just ate some prey, or staring at you like prey. Either way, saliva painting is not easy. What are all the different kinds of bears? Okay, obviously there's the polar bear, brown bear, black bear, then the sloth bear, sun bear, the spectacled bear. Attention, Wildlife Reese Art fans. We interrupt this scheduled artwork for a very important Wildlife Reese poll. Today's question is one I've been racking my brain over. Say a zombie apocalypse has begun, and you can only choose one bear to have on your side. Would you team up with the powerful grizzly bear, the giant polar bear, the fearless sloth bear, or the adaptable black bear? Think carefully. Your survival might depend on it. Back to the painting. I figured out the thing, kind of. I don't know. I kind of just put highlights wherever and just hoped it looked right. Why did I think it was a good idea to wear white sweatpants while painting a dark grizzly bear? That was just a bad move on my part, but I was careful. They didn't get ruined, luckily. Put some highlights there, and now I'm honestly finally getting into the fur again, which kind of got me nervous. Here I am with my very honestly, it's a really crappy paintbrush, but that's what I actually wanted, believe it or not, because all the bristles are separated, so they would give me like fur texture. After thinking for a while, I did come up with something about grizzly bears because honestly, after thinking about it, I'm not saying they're not interesting. They're definitely interesting. Bears are cool. But they're animals that are a lot more Interesting. But here's a fact. Grizzly bears live in more than just North America. They live all the way in Europe and Asia. Hold up. Quick bear fact check. I mixed up grizzly bears and brown bears. Grizzlies are a type of brown bear that live in North America. Other brown bears live in Europe and Asia too. Same family, different homes. You know what? We're going to move on from my bear TED Talk because I realized I don't know enough about bears to be helpful to anyone. Okay, back to the art. Getting the fur done on the muzzle, going in for like a lot of highlights. You know, it's like it's okay if a little bit of paint goes over it when I'm doing the fur because that's just how fur is. You know, it's furry. I don't know how to describe it. It's wispy. Jeez, I'm just pulling out the dictionary. The muzzle thing is gonna be where most of the light fur comes in because most of the other fur is gonna be like in shadow and stuff. But look at the teeth and the mouth. I'm already way happier with this than my abstract color blocked version. There's one thing that I definitely did not appreciate. You can't see it really, but there are 3 different bristles stuck in the painting and it's buried underneath 5 different layers of paint. And I was worried if I tried to get it out, it would cut the painting, so I just didn't take them out. Look at the fur. I'm getting all the shading done and it's actually looking good for once. Like it looks way better than when I did my blocking. Man, I'm very happy with myself for painting over all that. I will later realize one ear is clearly larger than the other. So later I will fix that. But for now, I just need to get the ear done, or at least one of them done. And I think it looks appropriately mad or angry or something. It looks threatening. The eyes, once again, working on the eyes. Because I just did like a billion different coats. I think it's looking good. Still gotta do the ear because it is still way undersized. Like one ear is clearly smaller than the other. Not sure how I didn't notice that for so long. Yeah, I didn't notice that like the entire time I was painting. I did the saliva on the mouth to make it look extra like, angry and aggressive. I tried like putting some on the fur, like it dripped down or something, but I didn't like that. It looked weird. But the mouth is done. I got the highlights on the eyes, the little eye shinies. I did the little eye shinies. The eye shinies are the best part of a painting. Well, I guess I didn't really need to learn a lesson because I didn't get any paint on my sweatpants. But why am I wearing a white sweatshirt? The blue side's pretty much done. I got all the fur and stuff done there. So I'm gonna talk about the polar bear now. Polar bears are the largest species of bear. They live in Canada. I guess they live some in the snowy regions of the United States. Just Alaska, Greenland, Russia, and Norway. Okay. The skin of a polar bear is actually a blackish gray color, and their fur is just white. I guess you could say it's similar to a zebra, because zebras are black with white stripes, because their skin's black, and they have white fur. Although polar bears, that's the only sense where polar bears are similar to zebras. Speaking of zebras, have you ever heard of a golden zebra? It's really pretty. Instead of black stripes, they have golden, light brown color, and it just makes them appear gold, which is really, really pretty. I'm painting a bear and I'm talking about zebras. Jeez. I finally fixed the size of the other ear. They're finally proportional-ish. Pretty much almost done. I'm just adding some final touches and details. And with that, this painting is complete. Well, this painting definitely had its ups and downs, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. A big thanks to my dad's friend for inspiring this project, and thank you all for watching and following along. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode of Wildlife Reese Art.
That is awesome. That is perfect. That is so cool. Thank you, Reese. Appreciate it.